Alright guys, so I wanted to do a quick pre-range visit tabletop review of the Takom carbine recoil system with the enhanced carbine buffer spring. So it's a 2-buffer system. They have basically no weight. This is when you buy the carbine recoil system, you get the 2 buffers. They're essentially weightless, you know, I don't know what the official weight is offhand. Maybe I'll put that somewhere in the description, but basically no weight when compared to your standard mil-spec carbine buffer is quite heavy. You know, in comparison, they're basically, you know, just hollow aluminum buffers, and you get one for the front and one for the back, and they go into the spring and then into your buffer tube, which I'll do here in a second. And then you buy the spring separately, but with the, you know, they're meant to work together, which is a 10% reduced tension spring, again, as opposed to a mil-spec buffer spring. So you use this, you wouldn't want to just swap this into your standard AR-15. You know, there's some, it works in conjunction with your bolt carrier, which I have in here, as well as your gas system. So highly recommended that you get an adjustable gas block if you're gonna put something like this in your rifle at minimum. And then you could have a standard bolt carrier like this one here, a full auto mil-spec weight, full weight bolt carrier group. This is a really nice one by WMD. That was the original one I bought for this rifle. Been a super reliable bolt carrier and bolt system for me. I really like that. Or alternatively and ideally, you would go with something like this, which is a low mass. And I'll have a review of this product here as well after I get this gun tuned up. But this is the Brownells low mass bolt carrier group, and you can see, you know, it's about 30% lighter. You can kind of see the difference, particularly up front in my right hand, and you know, how much material they've machined out of this. But again, the most important, if you're going to go with the lightened spring, lightened buffer, the most important item to go with that is going to be the adjustable gas block, which is under my handguard here. So what these lighter buffers do is they allow you to tune that gas down, so you need less force to cycle your bolt. And then that less force is going to create lighter felt recoil into your shoulder, but also less bounce in the gun, so it's going to keep your sights on target for fast shooting. So this would be for competition shooting, primarily. You know, in a self-defense weapon, home defense weapon, you know, mil-spec is probably the way to go, but or maybe even heavier than mil-spec to, you know, make sure that that bolt locks back into place every time. But from a competition standpoint, you know, you're tuning the gun for specific ammunition, and all you're trying to do is shoot fast. You know, your life doesn't depend on the reliability of the weapon, although your time in a stage, you know, you don't want the gun to misfire, but you know, if you get a little hiccup, it's not going to be dangerous to you. But anyways, so the adjustable gas block allows this to work the way it's supposed to work. And then in tune with that, lightening your bolt carrier means you have less weight to have to move, so you can reduce that gas even more with something like this. So I'm going to show you how quick this is to install. I had the standard buffer tube in there, And if you don't know how to swap this out, you're probably, I don't even know if you're watching this video, so you probably already know how to do this. But so here's my mil spec. The spring goes in first, and you just push it in until the retention spring grabs it, or detent. You get past the detent and that holds it in. So to get it out, I typically just use a flathead screwdriver to push the detent down, and then once it gets started, it springs right out. So that's pretty easy to do. And then you go ahead and put your Takom carbine recoil system with the enhanced spring. You just gotta, again, get it past that detent to start. And I will angle it in a way so that the buffer stays in the spring. Once I get that spring to the back, then I can change my angle a little bit. And then I can grab the other buffer, put it in the spring, and then just like the mil spec one, just push it in past the detent. And that's really all it takes right there. I don't have a bolt in right now, but that's it. So that's a quick, easy install. You can really feel the difference, and I'll put in hand, when you're just compressing the springs, you can't really tell the difference in that 10% reduced coil, and the coil lengths are pretty similar. The weight of the buffer is the biggest difference in your hand, but once you get it in the gun and you put a bolt in here, or bolt and charging handle back in, so that you can cycle this, that's when you're going to really notice the difference. Extend the bolt out to get it past the receiver here. Slide that in. Close the takedown pin. And when you get it here and you start cycling, you'll notice that the difference in the spring tension, and you can really start to see how much less gas this is going to require to cycle. So I'll get some more input on this. I'm going to the range today or tomorrow to tune this, because anytime you switch anything in the gas system or your buffer system or your bolt carrier, that adjustable gas block has to be adjusted if you're really pushing your limits to how light the gun can shoot, because every little thing in that system changes how much gas you need to cycle the bolt. So I'll walk through that a little bit more at the range and give you some hard data as to with how much gas I can tune out of this gun from stock, which is where the gas is set up now, to changing out the buffer and springs, shooting my full mass. I should be able to tune it down a little bit because of the reduced weight in the buffer and spring. And then finally, when I get to the new BCG, how much more I can turn on the gas even then. So I'll try and get some hard data on that for you guys, so you can see which is more valuable from a money investment. What's going to make the biggest impact. The Takom buffer and spring is pretty cheap. That's about I think it's about $50 total, which is a really low investment. If you already have the adjustable gas block, those are going to cost anywhere from $70 to $100 for decent ones. But if you already have the adjustable gas block like me, then that $50 investment to go to the Takom reduced weight buffer and buffer spring is very minimal. It might not even be $50, it might be $40. But that's kind of a no-brainer if you have the adjustable gas block. And so hopefully I'll get some good content, hard numbers as far as how much I can really tune down the gas and what my felt recoil experience is with these two changes, so that you can see maybe maybe it's worth, you know, putting the $50 into the springs for you, but not $100 into the bolt carrier group. So we'll see. That's kind of what I'm hoping to find out when I go to tune this gun. And you know, so I'll add that content in as well as my written review onto the website. And so hopefully in the next coming days, you'll see this gun at the range being tuned, and you'll get some hands-on review once I have a few shots down range with it.